Hello everyone, I'm Mikito Tadiarta Laksmana. I'm going to explain to you about investment casting process. Now here is the order. First, I'm going to give a short definition of investment casting. Second is the process. Third is the advantages and disadvantages, and the last is the application. And now we could start. Investment casting. Investment casting was developed over 5,005 years ago and can trace its roots back to both ancient China and Egypt. Investment casting is a manufacturing process in which a wax pattern is coated with a refractory ceramic material. Investment casting is so named because the process invest means surrounds the pattern with refractory material to make a mold, and later on, a molten substance, which is the cast material, will be poured into the mold. Once the ceramic material is hardened, its internal geometry takes the shape of the casting. The cavity inside the refractory mold is an exact duplicate of the desired part. Materials that can be cast include stainless steel alloys, brass, aluminum, carbon steel, and glass. Process of investment casting. First, create a wax pattern, which is constructing the die. This pattern was made based on the finished object or the object that wants to be cast. Second, wax assembly. Next, the wax patterns are assembled onto the runners and into a finished tree which is ready to be dipped. Slurry coating. The assembly is then dipped into a high-grade ceramic slurry to build a ceramic shell around the wax tree. Fourth, stuck coating. After the slurry coating is done, particles of sand are dropped onto the surface of the wet tree assembly. This helps to thicken and strengthen the layer of the coating on the wax assembly surface. Next is repeat steps 5 and 6 until the assembly achieves the desired cell thickness. The assembly is then allowed to set and dry. Next, dewaxing. The wax inside the newly built shell is now removed. Dewaxing is done by using a steam dewaxing autoclave or flash fire furnace. So later, the wax is melted and leaves its shell and make a cavity. And 6. Casting. Now the desired molten metal is poured into the preheated mold cavity. And next, it lets to be cool and set until the molten metal is solidified, which then becomes the final casting. 8. Shell removal. The shell material is then removed through process hammer knockout, vibration, or steel grit blasting. The next is cut off. The finished parts are then cut free from the gating and runner system. And the next, finishings, although acceptable, it is not necessarily needed. Various finishing techniques are employed including grinding, sandblasting, and coating to achieve the final surface needed. And the last is testing. Once the finishing operations are done, the parts are inspected for surface and subsurface defects. Visual and fluorescent penetration inspection is done for surface, and an X-ray is employed for subsurface defect identification. Advantages and disadvantages of investment casting. First, in advantages. It could produce excellent surface finish, high dimensional accuracy, extremely intricate parts are castable, almost any metal can be cast, no flash or parting lines needed, effective utilization of metal, fewer environmental hazards from the foundry process. And then the disadvantages, this process is expensive, is usually limited to small casting, and presents some difficulties where cores are involved. Next is the individual pattern is required for each casting, which leads to investment casting require longer production cycles compared to other casting process. Now the last is application. The investment casting process could be applied into several fields, such as aerospace, automotive, electronics, medical, and many more, such as oil and gas, agriculture, and commercial ones. And that's all for me. Thank you for watching.